let's talk about painting then, shall we?
Let's just get
Let's have a
straight
little
into
chat
it.
about painting.
Fucking bang, bang,
Bang, bang, boom.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to record. And I thought I'd get my own.
Okay, your own device. I was thinking about Lewisham Borough of Culture.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this.
Yes.
Thinking about Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Oh yeah.
The New Deal project.
The WPA.
What's that?
That was when he paid artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
the Federal Arts Project, parts of the Work Progress Administration.
Yeah. I don't know about the details. I just know about like all of them got on it, or we're all.
Well, yeah. Well,
doing,
he
like,
basically
public art.
public art was part of it, but basically all you need to do is go to your studio and clock in and make work all day. And sometimes they would get these artists to do public art as well.
I thought they all had to go out on the road. I misunderstood.
Oh no, they did do murals and stuff, but basically your day-to-day thing was because of the Depression.
Yeah.
FDR just paid, and you'd sign up and say I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Don't know if there was a panel or something, but presumably you had to have some. Maybe you didn't even need a portfolio. I don't know how it works, but yeah, and quite a few actually. It was like a massive number of artists.
Yeah.
Mainly the cities, of course.
Because like now, like with Lewisham Borough of Culture, like none of the artists, as I would call them artists, they're not really artists who are doing it, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. They're like street artists like this.
Yeah.
Or they're like artists as a sort of avatar for some kind of deficit or some sort of social like deficit person, if that makes sense. Like to get funding, you have to like basically say why you're like you have to say that you have like a condition or have something negative in order to get. That's part of the funding criteria.
Say that again.
To get funding for Lewisham Borough of Culture as an artist, the application form asks you, like, wants you to kind of put forward a case of why you should get the funding, but based on your social deficit. So, like, I'm an artist because I lack X, Y, Z.
And then there was just that thing in Ireland, which was the opposite. In Ireland, did you see that? There was a pilot scheme in Ireland where they were paying artists like a salary.
Yeah.
It was much smaller than the WPA thing, but they were paying like you had to demonstrate that you used to earn loads of money as an artist. So you had to have a track record.
I think they should just pay all the artists to stop for a bit. Like, that would be a good way forward, maybe. Stop.
Just don't make any work.
Just stop, just for a bit, not forever. Just stop for a bit. Like,
6 months.
Just stop making art. Yeah, like a year, 6 months.
You're recording, right?
Yeah, I'm
yes,
still
excellent.
recording.
Excellent, good.
Make this into an NFT or something.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought this is like the this kind of like I'm not sure what level of irony or what even it is. This sort of like misunderstanding on top of misunderstanding on top of misunderstanding, like weaponized ignorance, sort of tunes into my practice.
Let's try and break down what it is, then, shall we? It's
literally a broken down piece of the
broken down piece of the Berlin Wall. Yeah, no, I know, but what?
Well, no, we're wrong. It's two bits broken down. It's two pieces of the Berlin Wall.
Two pieces of the Berlin Wall.
Kind of like a goalpost or a portal.
Yes.
There's a gap in the middle.
Yeah. All ancient stones, like Stonehenge.
But definitely poured reinforced concrete.
Yes, yeah.
Modular design.
And it
not that dissimilar to Trump's wall.
Not that dissimilar to and what does it signify? It signifies, well, I mean,
that's the question.
It used to signify this idea of, you know, a third way, beautiful, open future. Which now is a bit of a joke, right?
How do you mean like a beautiful future?
Well, the breakdown of the Berlin Wall.
The breakdown, got you.
We used to, in '89, it signified this wonderful, bright future.
Yeah, like but David
now,
Bowie, heroes.
Yeah.
Coming off heroin.
Yeah. What's he called?
Freedom.
What's Hasselhoff?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it was like, it presaged the '90s.
Yeah.
But now it's like.
Now it's just.
It's just like, it's like, yeah, I mean, like Like, what is
It's
it
in a
now?
shopping centre. It's not
It's in a
functioning
shopping
as a
centre.
wall. It's functioning as a kind of portal.
It's functioning as a portal, but
It's
it signifies
it's
this idea of liberation, which has kind of been, turned to shit now.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah. It's freedom. It's celebration.
Celebrating-
It's freedom.
yeah, but
It's
it's kind of
plurality.
it was in '89, right?
Yeah.
But now it's just a kind of it's a historical. It's too historical. It's a historical document, right? Yeah. But
Yeah.
and yet that they have. So, but the graffiti on it isn't the graffiti from the original.
No, it's reissued.
So it's bizarre. So then they've got.
They brought the Berlin Wall here, and then commissioned the graffiti artists.
yeah,
to
it's strange,
do-
'cause you
but they're not
wouldn't-
graffiti artists they're not like graffiti like in the Berlin Wall era. There's graffiti on the wall.
Yeah.
That was graffiti. This, I mean, is street art
It's
with
street
a capital
art.
S
Yeah,
and a capital
yeah.
A.
Not quite capital S and capital A as a cause, but
No.
on the way there.
It's like Shepherd Fairey, like they were like the back runners or whatever.
Yeah.
That's sort of like, and one they're both figures.
Yes,
They're
yeah.
both-
Well, it's just interesting, right? Because you wouldn't, like, with another historical document, you wouldn't commission someone to spray all over it.
No.
It's the time that's elapsed, right? If you had the equivalent of the Berlin Wall from, I mean, you wouldn't get someone to graffiti on Hadrian's Wall, right?
No, it would be
No.
naughty.
It would be seen as
insensitive.
Yeah,
Desperate
just
and
ridiculous.
insensitive. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just absurd. You wouldn't graffiti on the Parthenon marbles, but you
Maybe-
can graffiti on something from
But maybe
from 33
because,
years ago.
Maybe it's because they brought it into Lewisham Shopping Centre in the middle of it and were like, shit, people won't see it. They'll just walk past it, they won't know what it is.
Maybe,
It
yeah.
won't register unless it has like street art because that's the vernacular
Yeah.
of like.
And who are these street artists?
I don't know. They'd like
Should we find out?
They've got them. It's got written on the back, I think. I resent getting up. To have a look
I'll
at the
Google it.
stage. Google it. Yeah, good idea.
If I can find it.
But the Berlin Wall is also operating as a kind of ground, as a
Yeah.
canvas.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, yeah.
history
Yeah,
is
yes,
sort
it's
of
like
like
history.
ready-made backdrop.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting. And photo op, as we can see right
Which
there.
means that an unstretched canvas is the same thing as the Berlin Wall now. It's
Yeah.
official. It's literally
Yeah.
the same thing. It's literally the same thing.
Lewisham Arts Centre, Berlin Wall, Street
Lewisham
Artists.
Shopping Centre.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Is there a Lewisham Arts Centre?
No.
No, it's not.
Well, I think that's like why they're doing this because of Borough of Culture, because they completely there's no culture in Lewisham, there's no art in Lewisham anymore. It's just been wiped out, and if there was, they wouldn't know where to find it. So you have like these kind of like curators whose job it is to go, let's get the Berlin Wall and stick street art on it, and that's culture. And it's a kind of weird, like.
And it's weird
outsourced
because
thing.
there's a studio just on the high street.
There's lots, but it's because like the
Yeah,
council
don't
has
know
no
about it.
understanding,
Yeah.
and there's this kind of like this kind of group of, I'd say like an arts class of people who can kind of mediate between council funding and end product or output, of which this is a clear example.
It's very much art by committee, right? Okay, so Stick, the person who done the
So he would have been born in '79.
Born in 79, so he was 10 years old
when
when
the
it
Berlin
fell.
Wall came down.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So Stick is a British painter and sculptor known for his large-scale public artworks in Europe, Asia and America. With his roots in the street art movement, Stick continues in the spirit of tradition. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, he's got some of these fucking characters in it.
Interesting.
It's kind of the Gormley, kind of the street art Gormley.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Gormley is the street art.
Okay, so Thierry Noir, the other guy,
Yeah.
he graphed on the Berlin Wall.
He graphed on the Berlin
Yeah,
Wall.
look, there he is.
There's a photograph of
So
him.
there's some historical link
Okay,
there
so
with
he's
him.
like a dog
Yeah.
returning to eat his own
yeah,
vomit.
yeah. But I do actually, it's actually something I've been thinking about a lot lately. It's quite interesting how now there's all these people who came up through street art who
Yeah.
are now fucking huge. Like I
Yeah.
think one of the main ones, of course, Cause and Banksy, right? They're the two main
Yeah,
ones.
and Shepherd Fairey.
But he's not so much in the fine art.
He's not.
He's like
knocking
an
out-
ad guy, right?
Yeah.
But like these two, and it's never happened before that you could be a massive artist that sells for millions and even has a fucking Serpentine show because they had some partnership with this digital media company that gave them money. Do you know about this?
No.
Cause currently has a Serpentine show,
Yeah.
which is just mental, obviously, and it's getting
Yeah.
the most hilarious bad reviews you've ever seen in life.
Yeah.
But it's because there's some digital art media company.
Yeah.
Like, because it's got a lot of VR and shit in the show. I'm sure. And some digital art media company gave the Serpentine a shit ton of money to do it. But anyway, you have these artists who you never had this before, where they're like nominally like they sell on the secondary market for loads of money, even with galleries, you know. But they have totally bypassed the art historical validation bit, the critical validation bit, like completely.
Yeah.
And so it's and I get you with NFTs as well.
There's like a kind of thing there, like maybe it goes back to Dubuffet, where it's like the qualification is something nebulous to do with the street being the site of
But
the real...
Dubuffet was also still like critically acclaimed and validated.
But
And
like,
also,
that's their like, thing.
It's this
like,
thing. Yeah, I think it's more like Keith Haring.
Or like Basquiat.
Basquiat, Keith
the
Haring.
site of the real reality is.
Yeah, but
street,
it's weird because like they don't work in a tradition, right? They don't work in a tradition. Like Banksy isn't working in an art tradition. He's like the opposite, right? He's making stencils which are like polemical stencils. Like he's not working in an art historical tradition at all. I don't know. I don't think he is. Like he's doing stencils with like political messages.
Yeah, I think there's an art historical tradition of doing shit art.
There is,
that people think is cool.
There is, yeah, but that was always within the context
maybe
of
that's
like,
all of it. Maybe all of it.
I think
maybe he's like the ultimate.
Got a good point. But I think it is interesting because they have like no aesthetic merit whatsoever, but also no like but it's not intentional. Like it's the lack of aesthetics.
I think what it is
intentional at all. It's just like
it's the juxtaposition, I reckon. Mm-hmm. Like the Berlin Wall is inside now. It's like the street art is inside now. It's moving. It's not fixed. It's mobile now. The structures it was on, like when you have a Banksy on your house. And then the person who owns the house knocks the wall off the end of the house. So they got the Banksy and then they move it somewhere else. Like all these things that were fixed are now like mobile and fluid and in the mix and collateralized. And it reminds like those Shepherd Fairy faces remind me of like when you go like to like hunting lodges where they're like cut off like elephant heads, or they cut off like animal heads and just mount them on a wall on a plaque. Is that sort of like trophy thing, or like I have conquered the outside, I have conquered the frightening streets where people beat me up because I'm a terrible, I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I was just trying to find my flat and Clapham or wherever I've moved to. I have tamed that. So maybe there's like some kind of psychological thing where like a relationship between all of like the new gentrified, new build houses market in areas of Brixton has a direct relationship to the amount of kind of second wave crap street art that's hung inside them to sort of like try and smooth out the wrinkles in the psyche of the subject who kind of lives in this.
But it's funny because they can't be mediated, right? Like I don't think these people would buy your Shepherd Fairies.
No.
Because it's mediated.
Well, why would anyone buy it? I know what you mean though. Yeah, it's like remediated or something.
Yeah, but historically, you have to be mediated to sell for lots of money. Like
yes. Or discovered.
Discovered. That's mediation, right?
Completely. Yeah. That's like the ultimate kind, maybe.
Yeah. That's why I guess that's what I don't know what Basquiat was. Did he get art school? I can't remember. Or did Warhol just find him?
I don't think Warhol found him. I think he went to private school. So that was an account.
Okay.
And,
I watched the movie.
Yeah, I think maybe the movie is more like it's more real than the reality.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need to go off, because I think that movie has informed. Like that fiction of the movie is actually what people think reality is now. Like when it comes to this kind of fetishized idea of New York, the street.
There's actually a new play. Seen this? A new play.
I did read about
Paul
this.
Bettany playing Andy Warhol.
That guy is such a fella.
It's so funny.
He's the sort of person that doesn't wear socks.
He definitely doesn't wear socks.
But yeah, that whole like slice of art history. I remember when I was working at Christie's, there was like this catalogue they were putting out, and I was like, you can't do this. This is actually whoever thinks they're doing this being clever is actually the opposite of what they think they're doing. And what they've done is they've got like a double-page spread in the catalogue, like the best bit in the catalogue. And on one page they had like a full-page picture of like a Basquiat painting that they were trying to sell for like that was going to sell for millions. It was like established. And then next to it they had like a picture of Oscar Murillo's what they were trying to sell. And then overlaid on the Oscar Murillo there was a photograph of Oscar Murillo when he used to have his hair like Basquiat.
He looks a bit like Basquiat.
So the auction catalogue was basically saying that looks like that, which is worth that. What do you think?
It kind of worked, didn't it, though?
Yeah, it's like it's equivalency.
It worked.
Yeah, it's equivalency where everything is taxonomized and is equivalent to something else and sub-taxonomized, and grouped and regrouped and subgrouped, and it all has a indexical relationship to everything else.
But that's why it's interesting. These like new, these like all the big street art or NFT like, because they're not linked to anything else. Like they're not.
I think they're linked to what people are pumping into them. So there's this.
Yeah, but what I mean is they are. It's kind of the result of tech bros wanting to buy art, right? It's not even speculation. It's like
I don't think they do though.
What do you mean?
Like I don't know.
But don't people who collect these artworks?
I don't think they're like tech. I think they're just sort of like testosterone. Like they're quite thick.
They're very thick.
They're not smart. They've never made anything like technologically wise.
No, but there's like they're often like Elon Musk type people.
I had a dream actually.
Did
I had
you?
a nightmare that he bought. I'm not even making this up. Like about 2 years ago, I dreamt that he bought like all of the or he tracked them all down and bought them all and found all like to put on like all of the new build Mars colony, like all the flats that interrelate on Mars, like hamster cages. That was like part of his dream. So
You should try and do that. Try and get in touch with him. See if he wants to buy them. Invite him to the opening.
I'll definitely invite him to the opening. I'll tweet him. I'll at him on the one of his aggregation bots. Will probably find it. But it should be good. I went to Giddy Show last night. Saw Georgie. Didn't see Moritz, but looking forward to it.
I heard it was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Really good. The after party was terrible though.
Was it?
Yeah, the terrible pub. Never going there again.
What pub?
The Jolly Gardeners.
I don't know. I went to an amazing pub on Friday instead of going to
Where?
Cabinet. My mate lives in Norwood Junction, and it's an amazing pub by the station.
Okay.
I went. It was just one of the best pubs I've been to in a long time.
It's not called the Railway Tavern, is it?
It might be. It's just right next to the station, and it was just locals.
So they wear like the barmen are a bit older and they wear ties.
No.
Okay.
No. So this is going on a CD.
Yeah, or something, some sort of ephemeral thing. CD-ROM.
CD-ROM. It's a good idea. You have a CD-ROM, and then you can have like a. You should get some 8-bit version of us. 16-bit version of us sitting talking.
Yeah.
32-bit even.
I can make it off the pictures.
You could, yeah.
And then put it on an NFT, a nominal NFT. Yeah, I found like an extra rack of the paintings downstairs.
Oh, wicked.
So I found them. I brought them all upstairs to my studio.
You decided already, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I've decided by looking at the digital pictures, so now I have to go and find the actual paintings. Which is like.
Have you got an old one that's all cracked?
Not a really old one, but some of them that I brought up actually in normal light look a lot more, not cracked as such, but like the surface is under material tension, or that there's literal pressure on it that makes the layers go. So there's that, which hopefully out of the 5 that I picked, 3 of them are the older ones, black and white ones, and hopefully out of those 3, I think that there'll be a nice bit of contrast.
How long have you been doing them for?
Well, the first exhibition of them was in 2009, but I was dicking around with it a bit earlier, like definitely 2008. There was some of the same Obey thing, but in a different format, in a group show with me, Georgie Natel, Tom Ellis, Ben Wallers, aka The Rebel, Ed Leon, Yoko Ono, and I think that was it.
Yoko Ono, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a new dome show. It was like fucking ridiculous. It was in Wharf Road.
Why was Yoko Ono in it?
Because I saw at Victoria Miro Gallery the first private show I ever came to London was Yoko Ono show there, and there's this massive queue to get in, and I was pissed. I needed to go for a wee, and there's like this big industrial gate, and I was like, okay, I could piss in the street, which is rude, or I'll just open this gate and go for a wee in this car park or whatever it is. And I did it, and I was like in the back garden of Victoria Miro Gallery with like Yoko Ono and all of like these kind of art people, like having a lovely soiree. So I skipped the queue and I could get in. And they had like these amazingly like rich hippie art, which I adore and hate but love because it's happening now. And her rich hippie artwork was a map of the world, big tables with big maps of the world on them, and then like rubber stamps that said "Imagine Peace" on the rubber stamp. And you dip it in and stamp it on the thing. And they had
and you nicked it.
No, I didn't nick it. Actually, I did nick it. And standing by each of these big tables, there was like a kind of like embarrassed art invigilator person who was like trying to encourage these like disdainful rich people to like participate with the work in Imagine Peace. And I just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, Imagine Peace, like it's just like mental, like this idea of like maybe like the Imagine Peace sign and the mobile Berlin Wall and art or generally these kind of things, this fake mobility.
Apparently, when she did the shows, the Serpentine show, no one could use the toilet apart from her during the install, and so everyone had to go to
a hole in the woods,
a hotel, like I guess near Hyde Park.
Yeah,
true story. No one could use the toilet apart from her.
Her work used to be very good, I think.
Anyway, and then how did you acquire the work?
Nicked the stamp.
Oh.
And then ordered off the internet a bunch of maps, and then built tables that were the exact same dimension of the maps, and then I think put perspex over the top so you can. Or there was some stupid thing. It was like a really stupid thing. Dan Mitchell, who was in that show as well. It was just like a fun, stupid thing. And so that was But the first that was so they were a bay because what it was I think Georgie did some paintings. She was still at the Slade at the time of like faces. They were like stylized shapes, like triangles for eyes and just 3 triangles, 2 eyes and a mouth. And I think I saw those and I was like, oh, I could do like my Bay street art things in like response to them, like a kind of troll or a kind of like response back and forth. And interestingly enough, those paintings that she did for that show were the ones that Eddie Peake stole the idea from. This idea of like having a shape or a plastic bag and then spray painting over the top of it to make a kind of dopey looking face. He ripped it off her when they were at the Slade. So it was like a very pivotal art historical moment in terms of like the London.
Remember him?
I've never actually met him, but I just like all you need to know is his work.
I used to invigilate at White Cube, and I was invigilating one of his shows, and they had like naked dancers, and he was naked, doing something naked. I can't remember what he was doing naked, but it was
naked.
He was naked, and that's what it was. He made a recreation of the penguin enclosure in London Zoo and had naked dancers in it, and he was naked, and it was a Sunday, and I was very hungover, and he came up to me naked with his dick out, telling me to being like, excuse me, can you maybe make sure no one takes photos of the naked people? And I was like, mate, this is White Cube Bermondsey. This is like a big day out. It's like people think it's a public gallery, and there's no sign up saying no photography. I'm not going to stop people taking pictures of your naked dancers who are dancing naked when you're naked. It's like what?
Did you see there's that thing as well? Like around this time at the ICA, like the Zabludovich collection, or the people, they will basically organise a kind of like soiree party for all these rich, evil people at the ICA, and the kind of party planners' concepts was just like nudity and nakedness, and so all of the people like offering like canapes and stuff were all like naked, like art students basically, and it's all been scrubbed off the ICA's website, but I managed to print off a couple of bits of it. But it just sounds like the most like that kind of Eddie Peake thing of like, oh, we're all so free and naked and liberated. It's just like all these rich hippies just perving on young people. Thinking that the kind of power balance has been kind of doesn't exist in the same way that like street art in a yuppie flat is like.
And Imagining Peace.
Exactly, Imagining Peace with a naked art student giving you a canapé, looking at street art on a wall.
I think now I think for the show you have to have naked invigilators now. You have to do it.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah.
No one will do that though.
Go on fucking casting call, starspro.com.
Oh.
Mandy, whatever it's called.
Who did Eddie Peake? Maybe I'll ask Eddie Peake to do it. Like, just go straight to the source.
Well, I mean, he doesn't seem to be working much lately, does he? I haven't heard from him for a while.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like we should just hang out and like, hey Eddie, is everything okay, man? Maybe this is like a way of getting back into things.
Yeah. The cool art scene.
Yeah, well, no, he's got to change with the times. He's got to like grow some social consciousness.
Yeah,
to go with his,
that's actually the thing. He hasn't done that, has he?
He's got to.
He hasn't done the Murillo thing of just becoming a socially conscious artist.
Yeah. I wonder why. Maybe because he doesn't have any social conscience.
Maybe, yeah.
But maybe that's the right thing to be doing. I don't know. Doing whatever the opposite. Maybe a stopped clock is right twice a day.
So how many paintings? 5?
5 in the show. 5 in the show. Any more than that, it's either 5. I think is
5's good.
Yeah. Don't want to overdo it. Gonna have a light touch.
Yeah.
5 paintings. 3 of them in the kind of textured black and white era. 2 in the coloured era, and then the field recording of the Berlin Wall in the Lewisham Centre, and then circulating it somewhere somehow. This, as a kind of fungible product, not product, but a fungible thing. Yeah, a token of it. There's kind of like putting this kind of idea of content, which is the paintings, and their whole kind of inner workings and regimes, and the idea of their context. Yes, which is theatricalised by this kind of
cool
thing.
Street art.
It's just context, the instrumentalisation of context, and the desperate artists trying to do that. Myself not necessarily excluded.
The reason why I like your paintings, though, mate, is because they are good paintings. They're oil paintings.
I try.
You don't try.
I do try.
You don't try.
Very hard. I try very hard to do good ones. I do like. That one you saw in the studio, that was bad, but sometimes you just have to do a bad one just to get it out.
Well, I mean, but what I mean is you do good paintings.
To do a good one. You do good
paintings.
You can't slop it about. You can't like pull out and like be a pose and be like,
you do good oil paintings. I like your handling of oil.
Thank you. Well, I have actually I've been doing it for a long time, and I have learned. Like, I know within this very small. This very, very, very small field that I work in. I go very, very, very deep with it. I know how to do it within very narrow parameters. And sometimes it's very difficult to do like a bay paintings. I normally do them in batches of 4. Actually, they're okay to do actually, because you do the batches of 4. But I just had to stop doing the black and white ones and move to colour. Just it was getting very heavy, very heavy. And then doing the colours, it's changed a lot. But
how long have you been doing the colours for?
Only since 2018. So now it seems to be like
because there were colours in the Jacques and Cathy show.
Yeah, they were the first colour.
Okay.
Colour. Like a break with the past, because all the other ones have been black and white. So that was like a radical shift.
Yeah, that was a great night. The board phone party guy, and then someone who will not be named because it's being recorded. Yeah. Fingering.
Just bodily fluids in phone parties.
Yeah. Just
magazine editors who should know better.
Indeed,
or worse.
Who will not be named.
Maybe they should have gone further. I don't know. It was good. It was a good show.
Good fun. I had green feet for a week afterwards.
Yeah, I felt very exfoliated.
My feet were green for a week afterwards. Did I tell you that before?
No.
Yeah, I think it was something about the dye in my trainers. My feet were they wouldn't wash off for a week.
Yeah, there's something weird in that. Like, one of my friends saw like the water that the water or whatever had like was transported in these big like containers for carrying liquids. And one of them had like a chemical sign on it, and my friend Layla just had a massive white. She's like, "Oh my god, it's all chemicals! This is all poisonous!" Ah! But it was like only the water.
Well, Layla did that.
Yeah, but it was only the water that was in there, not the other stuff. But that was good. That was the last time I have shown any of them, I think, apart from a few salons where I was before COVID. I was like showing them very regularly, like just trying to drive out the audience, like. Come to my studio, see some paintings. Come to my studio, see some paintings. Come to my studio, see some paintings. And it's like the not the same ones technically, but experientially for people who can't look at paintings. Who are
idiots.
Let's just call
them
people
idiots.
who aren't my audience idiots. Let's just do that. So for all the idiots, it drives them away. So you've got to narrow down your audience to like 2. 1 is good, maybe. I don't know, 2, 3 or 4. Like no more than that.
No more than 4 people.
Yeah, you don't want to have because then when you start having an audience, then you start making work for them.
I suppose I'm not your audience. I'm
you're just like
interlocutor.
It's like a random. It's good. It's sort of like from the side, from around the wall.
Yeah.
But it's good because you do in your head, even if your audience is like your mum or your like gallerist or your like.
Is your mum a fan of your paintings?
Of course, but she doesn't really get art. Like, I mean, but maybe that's good. Maybe that's these paintings, the studio paintings I do. Maybe that's kind of like that level, and it's okay.
Yeah,
it facilitates that. So I think she does like my work. I don't think she really likes these paintings. I don't think she's really seen them.
Or the eBay paintings?
No. I think she just like it's all good. Like I don't know. I don't really know what they think about art. Really, I don't think it's not really part of their like life. They like art when they go on holiday to other places, like other countries.
Like, I liked art when I went on holiday to Mallorca.
Yes. Because you get that sort of like thing where you go on holiday. Or let's say you go to East Africa, and let's say you like look at some art that's being made, hand-painted art, real painting. And it's like by art. It might be done by real artists. Like I've met some who were real artists. They had like a sort of thing going on, like a studio. But they would spend their day like knocking out these paintings. They weren't like as repetitive as
for the rooms.
My ones, but they were basically for hotels. And they had to do this thing where they was like stylistically recognisable. So there's this whole like vernacular of like East African tourist art, which is like tall silhouettes of black men, Maasai warriors, sunsets with the elephants in front of them, and women and water for some reason. And so they're playing with like these inherited forms, and it's very interesting how they do that and how they reconcile that activity with their other stuff that happens around that when they're like smoking loads of weed and like doing other stuff, which I never really got. I could never really like, maybe rightfully so, never really get that close to that sort of thing, but I could like hang out a bit with them a little bit and see what they were doing during the daytime and stuff. But that kind of idea of tourist art, which is like that, like doesn't really come from a context where it's made. It's done for other people to look at. It stands in for the real, whatever that is. It's how street art works. It's how like Eddie Pete works or Oscar works or whatever. To some extent, whether they like it or not, that's applied to it. Whether they like it or not, whether we like it or not, applies to everybody who's like everyone's subjectivity that they're making or looking. A similar application is put on it. So souvenir art. Souvenir art. Back to the street art. Heads on animals, trophy heads on walls. And that's a good place to leave it. Should I turn the recording off, or shall I let it go for a bit longer?
Let it go for a little bit longer. Let's do an hour.
Now I think they shut here in 5 minutes.
Okay, let's
maybe
do
like we could regroup
very
in a
end.
pub or something. Go for a pint. She's made it all the way down here. You come all the way down from Camden. It's a long way. I appreciate it. Look, all the shutters are going down now.
Okay,
It's quite
I guess so.
Do you come to Lewisham a lot? Is this your first time in the centre?
Well, I mean, I've been to Lewisham, passed through it. No, I don't think I've ever been to shopping centre before.
This is the heart of Lewisham.
I don't think so.
That's the Berlin Wall in the heart of
Many
Lewisham.
times I've passed through Lewisham in the 10 years I've lived in South East London. But I haven't ever been in the shopping centre, I don't think.
It's the place. It's the place. There's a lot of police here today. But I suppose it's because it's opposite the police station.
Do you want to turn it off?
Yeah.